Page 142, Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Roach leShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Kadosh Baruch Hu, Bachuni leShalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzeitzchem leShalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Kadosh Baruch Hu.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
So, all of a sudden, it's summer. Right? It's feeling maybe even hot here in Vancouver, but it's beautiful out. And I know that many people tonight, I was talking with my daughter in the car, I said, I don't know if there's going to be so many people at shul because it's a beach night. It seems like Shabbat at the beach should have been this week and maybe not last week when it was raining. Right. But she said, well, why are people going to the beach? I said, well, because it's a beautiful night, but also because it's the solstice. It's the longest day of the year, and people like to stay out and be out in the light as long as possible. And you know, I think there's something about light, about wanting to be in the presence of light and to stretch it out as much as we can. In some ways, that's actually why we light Shabbos candles, is because our ancestors didn't want to sit in the dark on Shabbat. It was an innovation of the rabbis. There's no such thing as lighting Shabbat candles in the Torah. It comes later, because they realized that though there is a prohibition against lighting a fire on Shabbat, if you do it right before, that gives you the maximum amount of time to dwell in light and to stretch it out and to be in the warmth of that light. So that's what we're going to do as we welcome Shabbat, as we do every Friday night. And for the honor of lighting the Shabbat candles, I want to invite Arlene Gladstone to come join us on the bima. We're going to begin with an English reading on page 121. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you, Arlene. So I had the opportunity this past week to go to Seattle for an alumni retreat for a program, a fellowship that I did during seminary, HUC in New York. And I was just thinking about time and how between this week and last week, if you were here or not, feels like so long. I don't know about you. But especially when you travel and do new things and see new people, your week is filled with things and it kind of stretches out the time. Yesterday I was in Seattle, today I'm here, even though it's not that far. And so in that nature of time, perhaps we can think about stretching out Shabbat a little bit, doing what we can to be present, learn new things, or spend time with people that we love and really make the most of this sacred time that we have together. So we'll start on page 130 with Lechu Neranena, Psalm 95. Lechu Neranena L'Adonai קדמה פניו בתודה בזמירות נהריה לו ילה לילה ילה לילה ילה לילה ילה ספרו בגויים כבודו בכל העמים נפלאותיו כי גדול אדוני ומוללהו לא ראו על כל אלוהים Page 134. זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור בקול זמרה. זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור בקול זמרה. זמרו Kabbalat. Verse 3. Mikdash melech, ir melucha, kumitzei mitoch hafecha, rav lach shevet, b'mekabacha, vehu yachamol alai chemla, olecha dodi likrat kala, nei Shabbat nekabela, olecha dodi likrat kala, nei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 5. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki va'orech u'miori, uri, uri, shir daveri, kevod Adonai alaich nigla, olecha dodi likrat kala, nei Shabbat nekabela, olecha dodi likrat kala, nei Shabbat nekabela. Facing the entrance. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha u'betola, toch emunei am segola, boi chala, olecha dodi likrat kala, nei Shabbat nekabela, olecha dodi likrat kala, nei Shabbat nekabela.
Remain standing and turn to page 263 for Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועל מה נברח רותי והנחמל חוטי, בחייכנו יומכון, ובחיי דכו בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה, ובזמן קריב ואמרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתבהר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Please be seated. Page 265, we read together, Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhma poteach she'arim, ובתבונה משנה עיתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו.
אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים. אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אתה, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך. כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, באהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We'll turn to page 270 and sing together, Mi Chamocha.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש. נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה לינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, לעולם ועד. ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Prayer of Hashkivenu, we ask that God watch over us and protect us in the shelter of peace.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu, Hashkivenu Spread the shelter of your peace. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom. Guide us in wisdom, compassion and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom. from hatred, sorrow and pain. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Hamideinu shomreinu lechaim, lechaim.
Such a beautiful melody that actually it transports me to Camp Kalsman hearing that. And
So many of our kids are at camp.
so many kids
there you
are
go.
at camp or about to go to camp and have those spiritual moments that we hope for our kids are in many ways kind of part of their spiritual awakening and development. And to be in a beautiful setting in nature and camp and community is really lovely. Of course, Shabbat at camp is the best too. So let's join with all of our ruach, with all of our energy, and maybe you'll transport yourself to camp or somewhere beautiful in your mind as well. We're on page 272 of Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. Yum ba da da da, Shabbat Shabbat, yum ba da da da, Shabbat Shabbat, yum ba da da da, Shabbat 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 Shalom. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ים ברדאי, שבת שבת, ים ברדאי, שבת שבת, ים ברדאי, שבת 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 שלום.
We'll rise together now for the Amidah, beginning on page 273.
Adonai sfatai tiftach, Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi agid tehilatecha, ufi agid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Koneh Hakol, ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה מתים עטריו להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עבר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יללוך הסלע. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. We'll turn now to page 279 and join with Cantor Cohen in Ritzeh.
Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu be'amecha Yisrael u'tefilatam be'ahava tekabel u'tehilei ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael Yisrael lamecha el karov lechol korav penei el avadecha vechonenu shefoch ruchacha aleinu v'techezena einenu v'shuvecha leTzion Berachamim Baruch atah Adonai Hamachazir Shechinato leTzion
Prayer of gratitude for all of the blessings we encounter each day. We join together at the bottom of 284 lines from the bottom there, Ve'al Nisecha, for all of the wonders of each and every day.
Ve'al Nisecha shebechol yom erev avoker v'tzoraim me'olam kivinu lach me'olam kivinu lach hatov ki lo chalu rachamecha ve'hamrachem ki lo tamo chasadecha me'olam kivinu lach me'olam kivinu lach.
Page 282.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim le'olam. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim le'olam. B'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Take a few moments of silent prayer.
והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי וגואלי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. Repeat after me. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart together be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock, my redeemer. והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי וגואלי, אדוני צורי וגואלי.
So in this week's parasha, Behalotcha, there is a story about, well, it's a sibling story about Moses and Miriam and Aaron. And they get into a little bit of a squabble. But as a result of it, Aaron and Miriam, who were not nice to Moses, are punished, and specifically Miriam, as is a common punishment from God in Torah, she is stricken with tzara'at, with white scales on her skin. And it makes Aaron so uncomfortable that he goes to Moses and says, you have to pray on her behalf to God. And Moses does, and he prays. And there's this very beautiful one-line prayer where Moses says, Elna refana la, God, please heal her. And it has been a healing prayer since that time through all the generations. And so we're going to join together this evening with Cantor Cohen in those words, in this prayer of healing, as we think especially of so many in our community who are in need of healing of body and of spirit. In particular, the Shabbat, we are thinking of Jeffrey Barnett, Mitchell Groper, Judith Losberg, Sherry Matkin, Richard Kozicki, Ashley and Nora Speed, Denise Huguet, Eliezer Ben Shmuel Vidorit, Paul Sprackman, Eitan Paris, Sarah Gibson, Stanley Garfinkel, Maury Dozer, Sherry Fiedler, Lucy Tamayo, Frederick Fajardo, Marina, Karen Bernstein, Esther Brower, Shannon Wall, Itamar Ben Root, Reuven Pinchas Ben Zara, Adele, Virginia Edwards, Nini Rostaker-Shipman, Yeshayahu, Natalie Wormelli, Claire Columbia, Carla Zivit, Janet Gelb, David Shlomo Gorney, and Andrea Yarzbiak. If there are other people you're thinking of, if you'd like to include their names, I invite you to rise and share them at this time.
Elna refanala, Elna refanala, Elna refanala, Refua shelema, Elna refanala, Elna refanala, Elna refanala, Shelema, Elna refanala,
So Shabbat Shalom again to everyone. It's my pleasure to invite our temple president, Daniel Steiner, to share a few words of announcements with us this evening.
Shabbat Shalom. All seniors are welcome to join. Thanks. All seniors are welcome to join us every Tuesday for our Shalom Shishim Games afternoon at 1:30 to play canasta, mahjong, bridge, or Scrabble. It's $2 a person, and please note that pre-registration via the office or our website is now required to attend. Let's go kayaking with Sisterhood and Women on the Water on Tuesday, July 2nd at 6 p.m. at Jericho Beach. All abilities are welcome, no experience necessary. Single and double kayaks are available. If you prefer a double, please try to pair up with another attendee to indicate that when you register. For more information, connect with Sisterhood member Tamara Heitner at sisterhood@templesholom.ca. The cost is $47.25, and that includes the kayak rental and a semi-guided paddle. Option to rent a wetsuit for an additional $10. There's limited space, so please RSVP by this Sunday, June 23rd. All Temple Shalom men are invited to join our men's circle, which meets every first and third Tuesday of the month. Next meeting is Tuesday, July 2nd at 7 p.m. to further explore the identity crisis and mental health issues facing men today in a more personal and intimate way. It's facilitated by Temple members, and newcomers are always welcome. Please join us for our next Shabbat on the beach on Friday, July 12th at 6 p.m. Bring your own picnic dinner with service to follow at 6:45 p.m. at the westernmost end of Spanish Banks Beach. Bring a blanket and your own picnic and join us for this very popular gathering. No registrations needed. And note there will not be an 8 p.m. service in the building on that date. And this is quite an accomplishment, this next one. Jeff Balin and his Torah-inspired leadership group have recently completed a full Torah cycle, which that really is an incredible achievement. And in light of this, we'd like to invite the congregation to join in celebrating Jeff and the group with a special Shabbat morning service and Kiddush lunch on Saturday, July 13th at 10 a.m. Feel free to attend, but please RSVP online by Monday, July 1st. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And if you do want to know more about the kayaking, Tamara's here, so you can talk to her at the Oneg and learn all about that. That sounds great. So today, I noticed a post on my various social media feeds from the organization Bring Them Home Now. I know many of you are familiar with this organization, which advocates tirelessly on behalf of the hostages. This is the organization that makes the red and black signs with the faces of the hostages you've seen around town and at the rallies, and these dog tags that I know some of you have that have the words Halev Shalanu Shavui Ba'aza, our heart is held hostage in Gaza, and then at the bottom it says, bring them home now. This organization has done so much work, and their online presence is actually very, very impactful. And if you are a social media person, which I know some of you are and some of you are definitely not, and that's okay, you don't have to do this, but if you are, I do encourage you to follow them and even to share some of the postings that they do, because to keep the hostages in people's consciousness is really very, very important. But the post that I mentioned that I saw today a few different places, it was very simple. It was just text, no images, and it said this: June 21st, 2024. Today is not the longest day of the year. The longest day of the year began on October 7th and has continued for 259 days and will only end when they are all back home. Sometimes I see their postings and that number of the days that we're counting, and I can't believe it. I can't fathom how long it has been and how long we are sitting through all of this horror. I know many of us feel a bit stuck in the news, stuck with everything happening. It feels, of course, difficult, but really dragging, like it is going on and on. And I think that we are all, myself included, in need of some spiritual sustenance to get us through this long slog. And so we come to this parasha, Beha'alotcha, where we encounter our ancestors dealing with their own never-ending slog, wandering for 40 years in the desert. We hear the murmurs of the people. So much of this whole book of Bamidbar, of Numbers, is one long kvetch, one long complaint, a long and brutal schlep through the wilderness that the people are having a difficult time withstanding. One of the remarkable complaints is one that we hear in this parasha, which may be true to Jewish people, is a complaint about the food. The Israelites remember in mouth-watering detail the wonderful array of foods they used to eat in Egypt. They mention the fish, the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic. They are contemptuous of the manna that falls at their doorstep each day, including that double portion on Shabbat. The text tells us that the manna was a fine, flaky substance made into cakes that tasted like rich cream. But maybe the people were nostalgic for more than just the taste. What we forget in our thinking about the before times is that the past holds its own complications too. The thing that makes Egypt for our ancestors a place of such nostalgia is that the Israelites knew what to expect. They knew how their story might end. But now in the wilderness, they don't know where this next part will bring them. They face a mysterious future where much of what will unfold is beyond their control. How much easier it was to pine for the familiar. There's a theory offered by the author William Bridges that transitions happen in 3 stages: an ending, a neutral zone, and a new beginning. In order to effectively weather any important transition in our lives, we cannot move forward until we have let go of who we have been and what has been in the past. And then there's this liminal space in the middle when we are no longer who we have been, but not yet who we will be next. Only after some time in this middle zone will the beginning of our new selves emerge in earnest. In our Jewish story and in our Jewish calendar, Passover, the exodus from Egypt, is of course a huge ending. We left Egypt, we left behind a life of slavery and crossed over to freedom. And Shavuot, which we celebrated recently, was a new beginning, a life in covenant, a life guided not by the demands of taskmasters, but rather Torah and that divine imperative. In our tradition, there is this time in between which we just went through, which was the counting of the Omer. But that time can be the hardest part. According to the author Bridges, people in this middle space are often confused, uncertain, and impatient. There may be feelings of anxiety, skepticism, or low morale. The past has been let go of, but the path to the future has not yet manifest. It's uncomfortable being no longer this, but not yet knowing what the next will look like, how it will feel, who we will be, and what it will be like. This in-between zone is a time of wilderness, of desert, midbar, a time to explore the vast rocky expanse between the Red Sea and Sinai. It's a difficult place being in the wilderness. It's a place of uncertainty. We feel exposed and vulnerable. But it's no coincidence that everything important in the Torah, prophecies, kingships, of all of it came out in the wilderness. The wilderness pushes us to confront reality. What do I want? What will satisfy me? What gives us real strength to bear up under these struggles, though, is not just romanticizing our past, natural as that impulse might be. It is remembering how many parts of these pasts were once every bit as complicated as whatever it is we are facing today. And we, our ancestors and us, emerged then, just as surely as we shall emerge now. As one of my teachers from the Hartman Institute, Michal Biton, teaches, our Torah portion offers comfort, reminding us that the past was never perfect, that the gap between the real and ideal has been part and parcel of our human and Jewish DNA from time immemorial. It also encourages us to draw strength from those who have already traversed the wilderness. This parasha reminds us that even when the journey is difficult, the promised land can still be reached. They remind us that we are stronger than we think, and that every generation can make things better. Shabbat Shalom. So I invite everyone to turn back into your siddur to page 586, and we'll rise together for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו, בגומי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו וזולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, ידעת היום בהשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת, אין עוד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. On page 594, a reading before the Kaddish. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch, a fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and oh to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. We turn now to the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. Share the names of those we are remembering this week. And I invite you, as I read the name of your loved one, if you would please stand as you honor their memory. We are in Shloshim for Michael Livni, Brian David Ross, and Esther Rubin. And we mark yahrzeit this week of Beatrice Fainer Abelson, Sadie Abelson, Patty Aiken, Ida Breezer Antflick, William Bellows, Allegria Benguigui, Michael Cape, Bob Coleman, Jean Cooperberg, Alfred Cohen, Pearl Crystal, Michael Eisenstadt, Sarah Epstein, Harold Fairman, Charles Golden, Naomi Groper Steiner, Bessie Gorelnik, Asser Harowitz, Samuel Hyman, William Karlinski, Robert Kemeny, Sarah Kadekel, Adam Langsam, Grace Mandelman, Ronnie Margulies, Miriam Margulies, Sylvia Markle, Efim Matukov, Charles Mackenzie, Cornelia Hahn Oberlander, Harriet Ratner, Gertrude Sandig, Fanny Shanan, Clara Silverman, Gordon Slobin, David Louis Stitz, Carl Tausig, David Valensky, Martin Weinstein, Abraham Wenner, Emil Wenner, James Kerr Wilson, Freddie Zara, Rebecca Ziskraut. There are others who have come to say Kaddish this evening. If you would stand and share the name of your loved one. We stand together beside all who mourn and invite the mourners and those who choose to join in these words again, page 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dachol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'elam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yit'alev v'yit'alal shmei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, u'yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Yehi zichronam livracha. May their memories always be a blessing. Amen. Amen. Join in Kiddush and Hamotzi before our closing song, and invite everyone to please join us for our Oneg Shabbat. Vayerev vayivoker yom hashishi, vayachulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzevam, vayachal Elohim bayom hashvi'i melachto asher asa, vayishbot bayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa, vayevarach Elohim et yom hashvi'i, vayekadesh oto, ki hivo shavat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim lasot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit. Ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'acharta, ve'otanu
kidashta mikol hamim,
v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon,
Hinchatanu.
Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat.
Amen. L'chaim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen. Page 625. Adon olam asher malach v'terem kol yetzir nivra le'et nasa v'chefso kol azai melech shemon nikra ve'acharei kichlot hakol levano yimloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh ve'hu yeh betifara ve'hu echad ve'en sheni le'amshilo lehachbira ve'li reshit ve'li tachlit ve'lo ha'oz ve'am nisra ve'hu eli ve'chai goli ve'tzur chevli beit sara ve'hu nisi umanos li menat kosi beyom nekra beyado afkid ruchi beiti shan be'aira be'im ruchi geviati Adonai li ve'lo ira. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.